Byron?
My three priorities would be over the next 4 years is to be more business friendly. We have created an atmosphere, I believe, with my experience on the Planning Commission, that sometimes leaves our businesses shaking their head of what were you thinking. It's one thing, and as Troy said, we have a beautiful town and we want to keep it that way, but we can lessen the red tape and lessen the demands that we put on businesses and still maintain that beauty. When we as a government start dictating to a business of what kind of tree to plant, that's going beyond what government should do. So we need to take that back and become more business friendly. If we don't, after all, it's the private sector that's going to help us finance all the nice things that we currently have and enjoy as far as amenities go. We cannot continue the growth of residency and not have the private sector here helping us, bringing us jobs and bringing us revenue to pay for these things that we enjoy. And then, of course, additionally, the tax burden, the extra 1% sales tax that was put, that now any Andover business has to compete against one additional sales tax with a mile in any direction. It's 1% cheaper. On a pack of gum and a bottle of Coke, may not add up, but it does if you're buying a car, $200 of groceries, whatever it might be. It adds up. So we have put those businesses in a predicament, and I think we need to reclaim that and mend those relationships. The industrial park would be another priority. That industrial park has sat relatively empty for years, and it's time to rethink what we're doing with that. We need to it needs to be a business park. We could have businesses in there bringing us jobs and bringing us tax revenue to pay for some of these things that we've built. Thirdly, but definitely not lastly, it's along the same lines as Caroline speaking. Our first job as a government is to protect and serve. We must stay ahead of that growth curve of people, and we must make sure our police, fire, and EMS services that do an excellent job are staffed, equipped, and trained properly. That's our first priority.
Thanks, Byron. Julie, how can Butler County communities align themselves for the benefit of Butler County as a whole?
Well, I think as we all move together in a direction, communication is the best thing that we can do as communities among Butler County. I think especially when the commissioners came before our council discussing the trash issue, they were going to every Butler city within Butler County saying, look, you need to address this issue or we're going to raise your taxes. So that's exactly what we did as a city. And counties or cities within the county are they're moving to that direction. They do not want their mills to be raised. It's part of part of an education process. It's, if we can all come together, I know working well with the county when the home show, when we have a Butler County booth, that we have so much attraction and so much to offer. If we could all get on the same page, all come together, there is a lot for us to build on within this county. There's a reason for people to move here. We just have to get that message out, and that's all the city entities working together with our counties, with our chambers of commerces through each individual city, and proceeding forward in a direction to create an incentive for our county to move to our prospective cities.
Ben?
I'm not going to really address what other communities can do for a county. I'd rather focus on Andover. And I will say this, Andover can be and has been and will continue to be the economic engine of the entire county. Tax dollars that are generated here and created here by businesses and people here are distributed to the remainder of the county on an unequal basis. We don't mind doing that. Is it fair? No. Is it right? No. But that's the reality of it. We are the economic engine of the entire county. We help other communities because we help the county. That's the right thing to do, not that we didn't have a choice. It allows the other communities the ability to do things that they wouldn't already be able to do, and it allows the county to provide things that they wouldn't be able to provide should Andover not be here. It also provides a pretty good distinction, and I think if you ask some county officials about this, they want Butler County to remain a mostly rural area. They understand and realize that Andover is not rural anymore. We're far from it. But you go 2 miles east of here, and it is. And they like to preserve that. They're able to preserve that rural county feeling by relying on the city of Andover to generate the economics that help make the county run.
Thank you. Caroline, as a current council member, define your role as a ongoing council member. What do you see your role being?
I see my role as being eyes and ears for the community. I am someone who is very accessible, and again, I mean, this was a conscious choice, but knowing that I could give time to the city, the businesses, and the residents that someone can't do when they're also doing a full-time job. What we have at City Council, it's a part-time job, but I give it a full-time commitment. So I feel that I'm the eyes and the ears, and I spend a lot of time out in the community visiting with people and trying to understand what people feel about things and what their issues and concerns are. So I feel that that's one role that I'm able to do. I'm able to be available to the city. I'm often here when we're hiring people or having meetings with people that we might end up having contracts with. So I know they appreciate my availability to do that. I do believe that I am someone who works well with others or plays well with others. I very much appreciated having the opportunity to be a part of Leadership Butler, and I am a graduate of that program. And that is exactly how I feel about it. It's that I'm helping other people to achieve what they want, and that's what the success is when you help somebody else get to where they want to be. And so that's how I see my place.
And Byron, as a prospective council member, define your role.
Listen, and listen. We are the representative of the citizens, and if we don't stay in touch with the community, that's where things can go astray. Not everybody comes to meetings. Not everybody watches Channel 7. Decisions are being made at the council level that impact everybody's lives. It's important that we know and that we're listening and communicating back the decisions that the council is faced with. I just think it's one of the important things that maybe the current council maybe has lost a little bit of sight on, and that is why we're probably in the predicament we are financially as a community. And I think that's tough. It's putting businesses in a predicament, as I said, and I really believe that the role of this council is to listen. And if we're making decisions that are going to impact lives as they do, we better know what the people think about it.
Troy?
Well, I love the compassion of both of these. It's kind of hard to go third after that. But I would agree with both in that we do need to listen, and that we're the eyes and the ears of the community, and really to seek first to understand what the community wants and needs, how we can help as a city to make those wants and needs a reality. I mean, it's that simple. I'm not going to take the 2 minutes for this, but it's simply to listen, understand. Once you understand, do what we can to make sure that we're good stewards of the community. So that's my answer.
Okay. Ben, government has a unique propensity towards overspending and overreaching. How do we keep pet projects and pork barrel spending safely in the realm of the federal government and well away from our local economy?
First of all, communities of our size and municipalities do not have the ability to borrow money like the federal government does. Neither does the state. Pork barrel projects in Andover, some would consider to be a library, a city hall, facilities, I guess I should say. Andover has in place a set of regulations that were enacted a long time ago that govern our ability to spend money, to borrow money, bonding, to pay for infrastructure, to pay for new developments. Those regulations are already in existence, and they have done a fairly good job of keeping us from an unfair, unlivable debt ratio. We are well in line with our peers. We are sound financially, and we have a plan for the future. We have reserves. There's an overspending that goes on here. It's almost impossible to do that unless you're just willing to just flat raise taxes, which this community will never put up with. It's been shown. You raise taxes, you replace the governing body. You keep the mill levy relatively flat, accept your increases in valuation, which we understand do exist, spur new growth, you will be fine. It is hard to overspend at this level of government.
Julie?
I do concur, it is very hard to overspend at this level of government. We have done, well, even before I sat on council, past councils have done a very, very good job in keeping our rating at an A+, I believe, as far as our ability to borrow money. And that's not easy to achieve. I think that we have our staff, not only in the past, but in the present time, has done a great job in keeping all departments, their feet held to the fire, very limited spending, so we can have reserve funds, not only in each department, but at an overall. So when things do arise, we can come to the plate and have a little bit to start with. You know, we had money to start with and pay for things inside of the city hall, although it wasn't the most friendly type of building to build. It wasn't the most attractive and ruffled a lot of feathers. We did not have to borrow a full, $4, $5, $6 million. We did have money to start with, so that was definitely a plus. It was very good that we did not have to raise the mill levy in order, one, to pay for this building, but our staffing needs to be commended for having a nice reserve fund for all of our departments, and I do concur that it is hard to overspend at this level of government with pork belly projects.